It's a time of year where we start to think about what our health and fitness goals might be for 2021. It can be really tempting to set ourselves up with those quick fix diets, but actually I challenge you for 2021 not to, and to take what is perceived to be the hard road but actually becomes the easy road as you feel more confident and more happy and stronger in yourself along the way. So I thought I'd come on and talk about my experience of different diets over the years and why almost 2 years ago making the decision to go down the hard route instead actually was the best and easiest decision I have ever made. When I was in my late teens, I put on a little bit of weight, but I would say that at most I was probably about 10 stone. At that time, I thought that being about 10 stone was the end of the world and that I was too fat, and I started my 20-year-long journey into testing out different diets. Now I have qualified as a coach. I'm going to say that 20 years was research. However, what that taught me was that none of those quick fixes actually were ever going to work. I did various different diets. I did the very low calorie diet, so I've done Lighter Life, Slimming Well. I remember doing one with milk as well. I've done the Cambridge diet, you name it, I've done them all. I did one where you drank nothing but water with lemon juice and cayenne pepper in it. Aloe vera juice. Honestly, the smell of aloe vera will haunt me for the rest of my life. It smells like a Cornish pasty and you had to drink it. Special K diet, at one point was on a drug called Xenical, which basically you could not trust a fart. Cabbage soup, you name it, I did it. And the thing that I learned through doing all of those, it was my brain was thinking that was how we were going to fix the issue of me being overweight. Awful things that we used to do to ourselves, just that we are learning how to do this better. So one of the problems is with all of those things, I got so miserable on them so quickly, I didn't stick at them. So I would fail at them within a fortnight, maybe. I think the most I ever stuck at one was 6 weeks. But they all taste like sadness. They do. They really do. Demonising food to the point where, you know, you'd question you were eating. And on the meal replacement ones in particular, I remember going to a restaurant with some friends and where they all had a lovely tasty meal, I drank water because I was doing all these diets, and while I would drop maybe a stone in the first week, 10 days when I started them, by week 2, 3, 4 to 6 at most, it would slow down and I would be so miserable because I missed food, I would give up. And then I would just start eating all the food again. So a couple of years ago, I knew deep down that what I perceived to be the hard route was going to be the only final option, because I was literally at the stage where I was thinking, do I need to have a gastric band? You know, what is wrong with me that I can't stick at these diets and do these for the long term? You know, I was thinking that could be my only option. But I was also mindful. I have a niece who's in her teenage years, and I wanted to set a good example for her, because it's not good for her to grow up seeing her auntie, you know, not eating certain foods and doing all these terrible diets. And I realised I wanted to set a good example. So I decided it was time to actually do something about it and to start to do it the hard way. And I do that in inverted commas because my brain, before I started it, really truly believed it was going to be the hard way and that I wouldn't stick at it, because I never stuck at any of the others. But here I am, sat here just under 2 years later, and I have not gone off that path in that time. I have continuously lost weight over that time. I am much happier. It seems like it will be the hard option to just reduce your calories a bit and to do some exercise and gradually lose weight, but actually it's the easier option. When I was on all those diets, I was looking for a quick fix because I wanted to be a size 10 or weigh 10 stone again, and those were my main goals. And I didn't have any other goals. I have to say, I didn't have any other goals than those two things, and I was never going to hit those things. I don't think I'll ever be 10 stone unless I'm really seriously ill. But when I started to do it by just having a calorie deficit and by gradually increasing my exercise, I felt better in myself almost immediately because I could set much smaller goals. So initially it was about learning what a calorie deficit would be for me, and that was such a scary thing because I was so used to eating 600 to 800 calories in a day, and then wishing it was tomorrow so I could eat them again, to being able to eat. So at my heaviest, I think my daily calorie intake, even in a deficit, was allowed to be like nearly 3,000 calories. And that felt like crazy. You know, how can I eat all this food and still lose weight? Well, because you're in a deficit. So that was something to get my head around, because I was allowed to enjoy food. And I could eat foods I wanted to eat. And this was something that was just, and I have clients now who will tell you, you know, they message me going, can I really eat all of that? Will I really still lose weight? And the answer is, you can and you will. And it's crazy, mind-blowing after all these years of learning the wrong way. And the other thing was having small goals around exercise, because when I started out, I was only really able to go once a week and do some exercise because my body and my brain weren't quite there yet. But as I increased it over time, it then became part of my routine because I was loving it and I was enjoying it, and that made me want to do more. And that's the thing. All these years I was doing those diets, I was hating every bloody minute of it, so I didn't want to carry on. But by doing it what I perceived to be the hard way, actually over time, I've developed healthy habits that stick, that I want to do more of, and so it gets easier. If anything, you know, that initial hardship of, okay, well, I'm going to lose the weight slowly, it doesn't matter anymore. You reach a point where you realise this is it for life. I'm almost 2 years in, that's over 125 pounds. I mean, the healthy habits will be for life. By doing it slowly and maintaining it as a gradual habit, you are less likely to cause yourself those issues that could affect mentally how you feel about how you look in the long term. A lot of it is about accepting ourselves for who we are, because you are still you regardless of how much body fat you have. And I think for many years, I was actually afraid to lose body fat because people might view me differently and expect more of me. But regardless of what size I am, I'm still Bon. And it doesn't change who I am at all. Literally does not change who I am. I have found that I gain confidence as I get fitter, and that is a huge thing. But I gained it a lot earlier than I thought I would, because previously I'd always been invested in that end result. And actually, I gained that along the way with the small goals, things like not needing an extender belt on an aeroplane, being able to sit in a chair in a pub without worrying it'll be stuck to my bottom when I stand up. Being part of something and not feeling like you're on the outside, it's so important, and it will make you stick at it as well because you're not alone. You know, having fun along the way and not feeling like, oh, I can't talk this week because I ate a chocolate bar. Or I didn't work out every single day, or I didn't do 10,000 steps a day. You know, it's about what works for you. You know, for some people, 10,000 steps a day isn't actually a realistic target. And we need to talk about that, and we need to be open about what would be a realistic target, because you have to start somewhere. One day you might be able to do 10,000 steps a day. That might not be today, and that's okay. It's about little bits of improvement along the way. If we've got balance, then that is what matters. So that is my message.